Welcome, everybody, to this special presentation on WHAS 11+. I'm Doug Profitt, along with WHAS 11's chief historian and archivist, Joe Federle. Hello, Joe.
Hey, this is a really cool special from 1980. I feel like you have to sing when you say this. This is it, because the main theme song from 1980, when the UofL basketball team got the national championship, was the Kenny Loggins classic, right? Do you remember that?
So, yeah, oh yes, and you're going to hear it in this.
Oh yeah, lots.
I imagine that's why you wouldn't be. That's why you are singing it. Well, so 1980, of course, in 2020, we celebrated the 40th anniversary of the Cardinals' first national championship under Coach Denny Crum. That was in 1980. Darrell Griffith was on the team. Dr. Duncanstein. Do you know who named him Dr. Duncanstein?
No.
He told me personally.
Who?
His brother.
Really?
His brother named it, and Darrell Griffith remains the all-time leading scorer to this day for UofL. That record is untouched, just like Secretariat still remains the fastest racehorse ever to win
that is a
the
cool
Kentucky
record.
Derby.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this.
This was in 2005.
This amazing video that WHAS 11 had.
This is 2005 for the 25th anniversary. We know her well. Debbie Harpsmeyer produced it. She did a great job. Drew Diener, who was our sports director at the time, and he hosted it. And you'll see they got to sit down on the floor of Freedom Hall. The majority of the team was there, and they got to just talk about all of their experiences, everything they remembered. Of course, the brothers, the McGray brothers, there's Scooter and Rodney. I was talking to Kent about that. Now, Scooter had a shoulder injury, and he was able to play. It was 79 that he got hurt, but he was there. He was a part of the team. And, of course, we'll talk about the fact that, do you know what this team invented that we use to this day?
What is that?
It's the high five.
They invented this?
Yes.
Oh,
You
wow.
never knew that? That's Wally Brown and Darrell Cleveland.
That's just like saying the Happy Birthday song was invented in Louisville.
Well, two things from Louisville. It's great.
The high five.
Yes, and you will hear all about that at the White House. It's just cool, great shot. You got to see Scooter and Wiley talking in front of the south portico of the White House. Jimmy Carter was there. He had a really good ceremony for them inside.
Yeah, he was on his way out of office, right? Because Reagan was elected in 80.
Right. Well, yeah, it was March of 80.
Right.
And I'm going to be very good to say that I'm thankful for this team, because I think they're partially responsible for me being here.
Oh,
My dad was a big UofL fan.
Yes.
And 9 months after this win happened, I was born.
Well, thank you, UofL, for bringing us Joe Federle, because he has found this amazing special.
At least the scheduling of
We
it.
want you to watch it and enjoy it as we take you down such a great memory lane. This is the first national championship for the University of Louisville under Coach Denny Crum, and we'll talk more about it right after this.
This is it. Make no mistake where you are. This is it. Your back's to the corner. This is it. Don't be a fool anymore. This is it. You think that maybe it's over. Only if you want it to be. Are you gonna wait for a sign? Your miracle. Stand up and fight. This is it. Make no mistake where you are. This is it.
25 years ago this week, Louisville cemented itself in college basketball history. On March 24th, 1980, Denny Crum and his team, dubbed the Doctors of Dunk, brought home the university's first NCAA championship. Tonight, we sit down with the members of that championship team for a silver anniversary celebration.
Here, the moment is now.
I think that people don't realize it's not what you've seen on the court that made us the way we were. It's what we did off the court that made us the team that we were.
The nightly battles against one another, and then being that Griff was from here, you know, he would bring in some of the guys that he had played with in high school and some of the guys that had moved on to college from here also. So once you won over all his buddies and then we were beating up on each other, then everybody knew that, you know, this group of guys were for real.
Well, I think everybody coming into the season knew we had talent.
We had a lot
I mean,
of talent.
From top to bottom, the talent was there, but as you always know, that always the most talent doesn't always win. So it was just a matter of us gelling and having confidence in one another and no, you know, personal goals. As long as we thought about team first, that anything was possible.
The most important pieces of the puzzle was when we signed Scooter McCray, because he came in with that smooth game, smooth attitude, and he would throw these nook away passes, and everybody caught on to that. And I think that one of the persons that caught on more than anybody else was Darryl Griffin.
You know, you look at the makeup of that team, man, you talk about pressure. You know, I think these guys are so competitive in spirit and in competition that we looked at the schedule and it was certain teams that we knew just weren't going to beat us. And that's not the disrespect to competition. That's just having confidence in our abilities as players and as a team, as a group, and then putting yourself out there saying no matter what, they're just not going to beat us.
The difference, in my opinion, was the chemistry. Everybody clicked with one another, and everybody enjoyed being around. We worked hard in practice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we worked hard. We banged each other, and it was a lot of fun.
We had to take the ball from them. That's why we pressed. People press now because there's an advantage to up-tempo ball, but teams have to shoot the ball now. Back in the old days, we had to take the ball from people. They would run their offense all day long.
Right.
And to average 82 points a game, it's an unbelievable stat.
It is.
It was a very young team. I mean, by standards. I mean, Derek Smith arrived, he was 16 years old when he first got on campus, so he wasn't that old. But it was not a team built around a ton of upperclassmen.
Go ahead, Dooza.
I was going to say, partly it's Berkman's fault and my fault. We were, I think, the worst class recruited in the history of the University of Louisville. I believe I read that in the paper, and Cleve too. And Cleve, yeah. So how ironic that we had, you know, Griff and Tony and Bobby Turner one year, and then behind us came Scooter and Wiley and Derek and Jerry Eves and Poncho, and we had this really bad class sandwich between them, and somehow we got dragged along with them to enjoy a lot of success.
Well, I thought I was the best guy on that class. I thought that class carried all the others.
We did. I thought we did too. I don't know where Greg get that idea from.
I think Greg's big modest. I'll let it be known that I was the worst jumper on that team. Greg could almost jump over the basket. And
sure could.
This is how I felt about that team. If somebody wasn't having an on night, somebody else was going to come through. And everybody on that team was capable of that.
In spite of the fact that we started a freshman and 3 sophomores, you couldn't tell by watching them that they were that young.
Everybody had a specialty, so to speak, that their game spoke as a team when you put them all together. That's what made the team click.
We wanted all comers, and that was due to Coach Crum having his tough schedule. We played a tough schedule. Coach Crum would play anybody, anywhere, and which that instilled in us that we can go any place, anywhere to beat anybody.
We had great athletes. Some of them were better players than others, but they all got better. And with the leadership of Darryl and Tony, I mean, the team, as the season went along, got to the point where at least I thought we could beat anyone in the country, and a lot of the people probably didn't think that we could.
But on that team, no matter if you were the 12th guy or the first guy, the 12th guy was just as popular with the players as the first guy was. It didn't really matter if you were a walk-on or if you were the last man or if you were the trainer or anybody. They were just as popular. Our trainers were just as popular with the group as the first guy. So.
Another critical component to the success of the 1980 team wasn't a person, but a place. A dark, cramped, and steamy pit known as Crawford Gym. It's there that the team practiced 4, 5, and even 6 times a week.
It's going to be a kind of a team that hopefully will get better and better as the year goes on. It'll be the kind of a team that is going to try to force other teams to play at our pace, which we think is the best game for us. We're going to press, hopefully, everybody 40 minutes of every game.
We had a bunch of guys that, while they weren't old in terms of age or experience, they had tremendous work ethic, and they all had a burning desire to be the best they could be. And the scrimmages and things they had in that place, I mean, it was a war every time they walked in the gym in there.
We had some battles in there that no game that we was going to play, no one that we was going to play was going to be tougher than our practice and playing amongst against each other. And we set that tone early, that we're going to battle against ourselves and go out there and play hard and wheel our way through tough situations. And that's what we did in the game. And I guarantee you, when we went out there, we pressed the whole game. We ran up and down, and we wasn't tired. We could have played another game after we finished playing that game right after that.
If you could see the intensity in that gym, and if you were a fan and watched us play in that gym, you would look at each other like, these guys hate each other.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we went at it. I mean, there was fights, there was a lot of verbal abuse, but after the end of the day, we all go down in the locker room and laugh and talk about, you know.
Tight locker room, I mean, too.
Yeah.
Tight. I mean, man, can you get over a little bit, please?
Yeah. I mean, I had to guard these, you know, you switch off and you have to guard these guys. Man, these guys beat you to death.
Roger,
Oh, my goodness, that's right. I still got marks on my arm right now.
Roger still got our skin underneath his
I
fingernail.
never committed a foul.
Never. No question.
Just goes to show the officiating is so poor.
There's Berkman coming across. He had all ball.
That's right.
That was the place to be. There were a lot of other nice college players would come in there, and you had guys like, I think the Kentucky Colonels had just folded, but Artis Gilmore's walking in there playing, and Wesley Unselves comes in there, Junior Bridgman, and you got
Price.
pros coming there, Price, and some, you know, some of the older Cardinals like Philip Bonds and Rick Wilson, and those guys are.
I think that our practices and our open play at Crawford Gym made the games a lot more easier because, I mean, we were going at it so hard at each other that by the time you stepped on the court, playing against the other guys was a breeze.
I got a call from campus security one night, and it was about 1 in the morning, and they said, well, Coach Darrell Griffith's in there with some young kids, and they're working on their, he's shooting, dribbling through chairs and doing all kinds. And I said, well, they're not tearing place up, are they? And he said, no. And I said, well, close the door and leave them alone. I said, they're not out on the streets having a good time, and he's working on his game.
Coach Olson and Houston and Jones and Coach Crum did a great job of bringing the correct group. They had an easy job, very easy. People don't know they talk about points. We averaged 82 points a game without a shot clock and a three-point line.
That's right.
The team took a big hit 3 games into its season when forward Scooter McCrae went down with a season-ending knee injury in the game against Tennessee.
Dr. Shea and I did an arthroscopic examination this morning, and we found a complex tear of the lateral meniscus, that's the lateral cartilage. And it was so complex that you could not take it out through the arthroscope. So we did an open operation and removed the entire cartilage. He also had a cartilaginous loose body present. I think he'll do very well. Of course, he won't play this season at all.
But with 1 card down, another card, same name, stepped up.
At that time, you know, I didn't know anything about injuries. I had never had one before. And when the doctor told me that I would be out for the season, it was all about rehabbing it and just being able to come back and practice with the guys. But mainly just really talking to my brother, who was real lazy at that time. A lot of people were wondering why they recruited him. And well, we knew as players that he could play because every time we would have the scrimmage games, the competition, he would play well. But his attitude in practice was, you know, Coach, either you want me to practice or you want me to play. You can't have it both ways. Now, you pick which one you want.
And after that first game, when every time it was time to sub, I thought he was getting ready to call my name, and he never called my name that first game. I looked at my brother, I was taking my stuff off, like, I was mad too. He was looking at me. We had just won a tight game. He was like, what's
South
wrong?
Alabama, I think,
He was
bro.
like, what's wrong with you? Like, man, I can't believe I ain't play tonight, man. I was like, man, I got to go someplace else, man. I got to go to another school. He looked at me like, you thought you was gonna play? I said, yeah, man, I was killing them guys in the scrimmage. I said, man, it ain't about scrimmage. You got to practice hard. And I was looking at him like, he's supposed to tell me what I want to hear. It's my brother. He's supposed to be on my side. He was like, I told you a long time ago, if you don't practice hard, you're not gonna play in the game. And I was like, from my own brother, it kind of cut me deep because normally he's always had my back. And, you know, after looking back, he had my back. Then he was like, you got to practice hard. and good things will happen.
When Scooter went down, I said to myself, I mean, it's time for Rodney to shine, because he had did it in practice, and he came in that Tennessee game and he played tremendously. And from then on, I mean, he was a tough competitor. He didn't have no more lazy practice. I mean, he came out and did 110% every single day, and that was contagious.
My first thing was to go back there and see, you know, how he was, but in that instance, Coach called my name, and I'm like, whoa.
You didn't see Rodney playing well, even in practice, until after Scooter got hurt. And then he stepped up. And to play with a 6'6" freshman center, you know, a lot of people talk about, Al McGuire used to talk about aircraft carriers and, you know, big men that could carry the load in there. Well, we didn't have one of those at that time. But between Scooter and Rodney, I mean, it didn't really, I don't think it made a whole lot of difference who was in there. They both were outstanding players.
And Rod had the temperament and the disposition that we knew he was going to come through. That's just his nature. So the playing aspect wasn't a problem. We just didn't know how bad Scooter was hurt.
Right.
We had one player go down and another player rise, you know, all within a 6-hour period. And, you know, ironically, you know, they're brothers, you know, and that was a blessing part of it.
It takes more than skill to win games. Ask any member of the 1980 team, and they'll tell you that there were rituals that had to take place each game.
Nobody told us that. We just knew to get Wiley the ball, the first shot, and he made it so much fun to play, because if that shot went in, he'd have his hands up, oh, it's over now. And he's laughing and we're backpedaling down.
Find out what it really took for the team to win. And later, Derek Smith, the man some call the heart and soul of the team, will look back at his life and career.
One good reason to try.
Let me give you a little handshake, Tony, because I think we made NCAA rule changes because of me. Because every time I got fouled, I went, I can't find my contact. Oh, Tony, shoot the free throw for Wiley.
We have another member, Jerry Eves,
Oh, man.
that would sit in the locker room doing preparation. I don't know about you, I'm getting mine tonight. I'm getting mine. So that's when Brown had established himself, you know, I don't care what y'all do, I'm getting the first shot. And he would say, you can get the first shot, but I'm getting mine tonight.
That was their deal. That wasn't mine. I mean, I knew what was going to happen. I didn't talk to them about it, but it was, they had their own little game plan, and they were good enough, and that I tried not to get in their way too much and let them do what they did best.
I'm not going to let this high five thing go. People my age, I'm 32, say the high five has to have been around for 100 years.
And a more high five.
You're the inventor, so you tell me how it came about.
What we did, we came out one time, and we'll always make a huddle out in the middle of the court, right there, after the introductions and everything, you know, we can do that. And I said, man, let's get it up high. And ever since then, that's what we've been doing.
I remember.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
I never seen it until these guys came. You know, I mean, the Georgia connection was so fun for me. I mean, they talk pit like, you invite them over to eat, and you know, my mom had Sunday dinner one day, and she said, you just should invite some of the guys, especially Wiley and Derek and Darryl. Well, I think Wiley and Derek came over that day, and you know, they were used to eating campus food. You know, so my mother made some chicken and dumplings and some pig feet. And, you know, we just kind of sit back and just say, you know, after giving them a helping of food, and they attacked it. So my mom said, just let them have it. And they went through that whole pot of chicken and dumplings. And it was amazing to see that, you know, that whole pot. The whole pot.
Cleaned it up.
They destroyed it.
What was in Coach Crum's program? I think we all want to know who watched that coach with the rolled up program.
I think that was Coach's nervous button that he had to have there to control himself, you know, something to hold on to.
It was kind of like a blanket, a baby's blanket for, you know, for little kids. While I didn't do any thumb sucking, I still, you know, I I relied on it.
I never heard him cuss the whole 4 years I was here. I was like, here it comes, he's gonna slip, but he never
did, did he?
The UCLA game, he said, damn it, guys, are we going to give it up at halftime? And it shocked all of them.
That made everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
We were talking about that last night.
And he was the type of coach, though. If Coach Crum had a way of getting on you, and if he got on you, you pretty much knew that there was a reason for him to get on you, because he rarely singled anybody out, you know, one person at a time for doing something. So if he ever brought something to you, there was no defense for it. You know that you did something wrong.
If you were out of line, he'd say, "You're getting out of line, Buster." Y'all remember that? Buster. And we started laughing about that. Buster was about the worst thing, but when he said that, you knew he was mad. And dinking around. Dinking around.
Perfect.
Don't be dinking around.
It seems impossible that the 1980 championship game happened 25 years ago. And as you'll see when we come back, the game remains fresh in the minds of the players as well as their loyal fans.
We knew instinctively then that this was a great group of young men, and 25 years later, they have proven how outstanding people they are. They're all successes in life.
And a more high five. This is encore time.
When March 24th rolled around, the Cardinals couldn't believe that they had made it to college basketball's ultimate game.
Man, I look at that game, and we didn't really particularly play a
The
good
UCLA
game
game?
that night.
The UCLA game?
Yeah.
That was probably our worst game of the year
Mhm.
almost. I think we played,
agree.
I think some of the games that we lost, we played better than, the 3 games we lost, we played better than that game.
I remember saying to Roger in the day between the semifinal and the final game, that, you know, that's when it first dawned on me, you know, if we win tomorrow, we're the champion. I mean, I haven't thought about this at all. Right. So, I mean, it was really, it was only at that point that I thought, you know, we're playing for the championship now.
That's the smartest guy on the team right there.
When we played basketball here, the fans and the community were they let you know how much they were behind you and were pulling for you, that you almost felt like if you didn't come through, you would be failing the whole city. So, I mean, you weren't only playing for your team, yourself, and your family, but you were playing for just everybody that lived in the whole community.
Well, we got our tickets last March. We ordered them in a lottery, and we got them because we knew Louisville was going to be there all the way. Been waiting for a year.
What makes you think the Cards are going to win?
They got a good team.
I think they're great. I think they're great. Picked them to be over LSU by 16. They ended up winning by 20. I think they're going to go all the way.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. It really brought this city together. I mean, it wasn't the South End and the East End and the West End, and it was Louisville. And everybody took pride in the fact that we were the best college basketball team in the country. And when you love basketball like they do around here, why, it is a pride factor that goes way beyond almost anything else that could happen.
Denny Crum, at age 42, will be the coach of the national champions in 1980.
College basketball, just out of sight.
A lot of emphasis is put on me because of the year that I had and the talent that I had, but I couldn't do it without these guys. I can't win no game by myself, and I think people understand that.
It's all over.
The ride back, I mean, the cars for miles. I mean, that's all you could see behind us. And we got back to campus, which was really cool because, I don't know, there were 10 or 20,000 people on campus. And when you went through the first part of the crowd, those folks were, you know, they're all giving you high fives, and the girls, you're getting kisses, and, you know, it's been great, you know. But as you got further into the, middle of campus or closer to Crawford Gym, I think those fans were a little bit intoxicated. And then they wanted, like, articles that they could take home, little memorabilia stuff. And it was kind of like, okay, guys, we got to close the windows. Get back inside the bus. The next thing you know, there's people on top of the bus. And I remember Marty Pulliam, Marty and Steve Clark and some other guys that were in the middle trying to hold the roof from falling in, because it was actually buckled in like this.
Me and my brother, after we left downtown and kind of rode around, I said, let's go to Crawford Gym because that's where the bus is going to come in. So we backed up into the parking lot in the corner behind a tree. And we just sit there eating White Castles and drinking Big Red. And we seen this bus come through. I said, there they are. And Michael said, man, look at all these people, man. Everybody was just surrounding the bus. And they started, I remember the part when everybody started getting up on the bus, and we heard the roof go, you know, it kind of bent in, you know. And I told my brother that was one of the reasons why I drove back with him, because I knew I could feel the reaction of what was going to happen with the crowd. I mean, it was just a, I mean, it was so unbelievable to see the reaction of the fans after we won. I mean, that always sits in our hearts. And that's one of the reasons why that we put this banner up February the 12th to show our appreciation, because, you know, I think it wasn't all about us. You know, it was about the fans, too.
And when we got back to campus and they were all over that bus, I was like, these students are not going to let us celebrate. They're going to kill us on this bus. They were standing on top of the bus.
The bus roof was caving in.
So for that particular time, I was kind of nervous that
scared.
we weren't going to be able to celebrate with students in the city.
And it took the buses 45 minutes, once they got near Crawford, 45 minutes to go 2 blocks, because the fans wouldn't move from in front of the bus. They were like, you know, on the bus, not afraid to get run over. Now the bus was inching. And they took us to the executive inn that night.
That's right.
We stayed the night at the executive inn.
Me coming from Louisville and knowing how much this city really, really wanted the championship, we kind of went through the crowd and seeing the reaction of the people in the city. And that's what it was all about, you know, to see the reaction, how the fans will react. Because, you know, we wanted to win it, you know, for our family. And our family was the members of our team and our fans.
I look back on it and I can remember, I mean, nobody was asleep in Louisville when we got back from Indianapolis, and that's a 2-hour drive, you know, after all the other hoopla that went along, you know, with winning it. And I mean, they were everywhere in town, out in the streets singing and playing and having a good time, and they took great pride, as much as our team did, I think.
And anytime you're the first achieving something as significant as we've achieved, it always sets in everybody's minds, you know, even in the kids who are not of the era that we played. Their parents watched us, and their parents let them know about the team and how great we were.
It's nearly 25 years ago to the day since that UofL caravan tried to drive through campus after winning the NCAA title. Fans who were there say they remember all the chaos.
It was pretty much a riot. There was really, there were some questionable moments getting off the bus. And some of the students and the people that were there to meet the team, there was thousands. It was so exciting.
I got up early Monday morning and didn't go to bed till about, well, I didn't go to bed till Wednesday morning. I didn't come down here to the office till after noon. There was no sense attempting to sleep.
But the fan frenzy did not start when the Cards won the game. That morning, Glenn and Paula Gish, along with others, hopped on the bus named after Cardinal center Marty Pulliam. On the way to Naptown, they had a feeling something special was going to happen.
It was just phenomenal. Everybody was excited. We felt all the way up that we were going to win that game. It was just an omen. We just felt comfortable that this was it, and that was the song.
This is it. Make no mistake where you are. This is it.
I didn't drive because I knew I'd be so nervous and so excited. I felt this was a time to leave the driving to others.
It was our time to win, and we did.
But the nerves didn't end once the bus was rolling. Once tip-off came, the tension mounted.
I'm the worst. We're down 2-0, and I say, oh, that's it. You know? And so I really need to gather myself at some point. But after the game, I honestly cried.
But this event was far from ending. In fact, it may still be going on for those fans who can remember it like it was just yesterday.
Kiki Vanderway had a breakaway that would have been, with just a couple of minutes left in the game, which might have given UCLA an insurmountable lead. Jerry Eves, rather than putting his head down, tore after Vanderway and prevented him from scoring a gimme. The whole game turned around after that. Those kids just refused to lose. That event had an impact on our lives forever.
I remember Darryl pointing up at the fans with about 2 seconds left, and he's just thanking the fans, and he knew what it meant to us.
And what it meant to the city. 13 players and the coaching staff gave Louisville something to hang its hat on.
The break-open game was obviously 1980. that put us on the map.
And from that point on, University of Louisville became a hot ticket. They made the University of Louisville the in thing to do to support them.
U of L would go on to win another title 6 years later, with the Gish family still cheering. But to them, that 1980 team will always be a little more special because it was the first.
Tenacious, dedicated, steady, and when the pressure was on, you always came through. It's a great honor for me to meet these famous people.
On behalf of the Georgia Connection, the University of Louisville team and organization, would like to give you and your wife a T-shirt and basketball.
Holy shirt. I'll hold it up for you.
I know that you're known as #1 in the nation, and the Cards are known as #1 in the nation too. So if you could, talk to Governor Brown about us getting us a new arena, we'll be
I understand that before the big game you left your thumb at home. Is that right? Well, I'm very grateful to you. And Amy and Rosa and I all will enjoy this very much. And I'm very proud to see that Georgia helped the University of Louisville win the championship. It's good for us Georgians to get together, right?
I never knew it would be like this. You know, everything is so exciting. It's like a dream come true. It's like everything in heaven.
Well, Brown, you're almost in heaven. But let's sign off with
action level.
Derek Smith's teammates and a coach remember him as a competitive player with a million-watt smile.
For Derek, he was always a humble person, very, very humble. And, you know, as far as confidence, that was always there. I mean, I tell my son Nolan, who is a basketball player, again, if you have your dad's heart, you can go far.
But for others, Derek is remembered as a wonderful father and dedicated husband. Coming up on This Is It, we sit down and talk with Derek's wife, Monica, and their daughter, Sydney. One member of the championship team can't be here with his teammates. Derek Smith died of a heart defect in 1996. He was only 34 years old. His death still affects this team, but they remember his great spirit.
Derek and I was like brothers. And first time he walked off the plane to come up to Louisville, I was already here, and I was right there standing waiting for him. Because being from Georgia, I'm thinking everybody from Georgia know each other. So I was there when he walked off the plane with them big size 17 shoes. I couldn't believe it. But I got a call from Scooter, and Scooter said, well, I got to talk to you about Derek. I was like, okay, talk to him about it. He said, I said, what's wrong with him? Because I hear it in his voice that something was wrong. And I said, Scooter, what's going on? Where is it? Let's get to him. Let's go. Let's go right now. And he said, no, Wiley, he's dead. And I could not believe it. He had to say it to me over and over again.
It was a big surprise because there's one thing that Derek was really strong in. He had the strongest heart of anybody I've ever coached. He had the will and the willingness, and a day in Crawford Gym in the off season or the summer when Derek was in there was a war.
If Derek Smith is up there with Nelson Mandela and those people with me, but I saw Derek Smith do camps here in Louisville after he played, and when Derek Smith talked to a kid, that kid knew he was the only thing on Derek Smith's mind. When he talked to you, he commanded respect. Here's a guy that came from Hogansville, Georgia, and I couldn't hardly understand him when he got to Louisville. Now, he was a tremendous speaker. He commanded your attention.
And when Derek passed away, it was just hard to believe because he was such a tough, hard-nosed individual, competitor, but he had a heart of gold, and it never dawned on you that there was something wrong with it.
Great guy, first of all. Worked hard, always wanted to play against the other team's best player. And we would see ESPN had just started up, and we would see other universities like North Carolina, all these teams getting all this publicity, and he'd always say, they're not better than us. I wish we could play those guys.
Seeing him play basketball, he was just so strong. He's had such upper body strength.
He was going to do his own thing. He was who he was, and he loved who he was.
Sydney Smith may look like just another U of L student, but she carries special genes in the Cardinal DNA code. Before Sydney was ever born, Dad Derek was helping lead U of L to its first ever title. 25 years later, that magical season is now reacquainting a girl with her father, who died when she was 10.
Before this year, I really haven't, I knew about the championship team, I've seen the guys at the different reunions, but I've had a chance to meet certain people who were at every game that season, who were at the championship game. I even got the DVD of the game, so I've had a chance to finally actually see the game.
And one thing stands out to this 21st century girl, short shorts.
Oh, it was hilarious. I can't imagine the guys today wearing those little shorts.
800 miles away, the memory of that season is more fresh to Sydney's mom. Monica Smith was Derek's college sweetheart at the time, sweating out the final minutes of the biggest game of his life.
All of us were just so nervous about the whole, thing. If you can imagine being in the final of the NCAA championship against UCLA.
Derek Smith's life went beyond college hoops to the pros and to coaching, but something about 1980 was always a part of him.
It's not that he talked about it a lot, but I'm sure that it was something that he could never, ever, stop thinking about because of what it meant to him, what it meant to the university, and what it meant to the fans in Louisville.
Well, he always wore his championship ring, so every time we look at him, we'd see the ring, and he'd tell us the story about the team and, about getting that championship ring and how much the ring meant to him.
Derek's son Nolan is now a blue-chip high school player in Maryland, and the family tradition could be looming at U of L. Mom's advice to him?
If you have your dad's heart, you can go far. He's far more talented than he was.
How much are you going to be on his case to come to Louisville?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be on his case.
He would come to a place where his father became a hardwood hero, and in the eyes of his family, much, much more.
When I tell you the best husband, the best father, an asset to this society, you can't say one thing bad about Derek Smith. Not one thing.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good time that made us laugh, outweigh them bad.
There's no way you can even put into words how much you're going to miss someone like him. Just knowing he was around, you knew something good was happening.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know.
It's one of the saddest days of my life to see him leave us. He's an angel.
To say goodbye to yesterday.
You can't even think about Derek Smith without smiling or him bringing joy to you. And he's just that type of person. He had great charisma. He worked harder than anybody I ever played with. And I'm just fortunate that I knew him.
And I'll take with me green on memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye.
the world in general. We lost a great person. But Derek Smith, I would say, is truly a friend of mine. And I think the world is not as good as it was a week ago when he passed away.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
The Cardinals lost another important person to the team, Jerry Stringer, a friend who practiced with them at Crawford Gym and who at the age of 22 suffered from bone cancer. Griff and the team dedicated that championship game to Stringer.
Jerry Stringer was one of the Crawford Gym rats. You know, he was a guy that wasn't on the team, but he could play with us because he was a tremendous defensive player and he could play the game of basketball. I mean, every opportunity he got to play with us, he played with us. And Jerry was also the team manager for Mill High School, and he also stayed on the floor that I stayed in Miller Hall. The 3 years I was in Miller Hall, and he had developed bone cancer, and you know, he kind of went down real quick.
He's fighting against a disease called cancer, and you know, he's hanging in there, but you know how cancer is. His name's Jerry Stringer. Some of you all might know him. When we win this thing, we're going to dedicate it to Jerry Stringer.
It really lifted my spirits, you know, because I've been kind of down. And it's, you know, made me feel good to think and to know that the team is thinking about me in my time of crisis, you know.
He was bedridden at home, and you know, you know, I'll never remember him saying, he said, man, hey, bring it home for me, you know. He said, I'll be watching you, you know. So we kind of, amongst ourselves, knew that, you know, we had to win this one for Jerry also.
When I heard him speak the other day, he says, I have a friend of mine that's in the third quarter. I want to win this game for him.
And that's what he said today at the top of our show. And he's dedicated this game, his last collegiate game, to his friend fighting cancer, and now has a chance to add another salute.
I know you're very happy for your friend, Mr. Stringer. Hey, the team just didn't give up at halftime. You know, we went there and we said, hey, we worked all year for this. We can't give up. We got to dig inside.
We felt it was appropriate to give him the championship next.
Darryl, you had made this promise going into the Final Four. How do you feel right now being able to present him with that victorious net?
Hey, it's the best feeling I had ever since I've been living, man. You know, me and Jerry grew up a long ways together. We've been through a lot in and out of school, you know, and he's got something to slow him down. I just want to uplift him a little.
Jerry held on just enough to see us win. I mean, he because 3 or 4 days later he passed away.
These were good times for a group of 13 young men who played hard, promised a championship, and became beloved by an entire city. 25 years after that one shining moment, the 1980 Cardinals still have the love of the fans, the love of the game, and a soft spot for a little song written by Kenny Loggins.
I've been wondering why.
Well, I tell you what, I grew to love that song. I mean, the more you hear it, the more we've had some great memories these last couple of weeks thinking about, you know, that and what it represented.
Boy, it brings chills every time I hear that song because that song was so fitting for this team. I mean, Kenny Loggins, he sung that team for the 1980 championship team.
When you put us all together, we all understood what we did. We all wanted to win, so it worked. But without the talent level, those things aren't as easy. You can be unselfish, but if you don't have any talent, you're not going to win.
Right.
We had massive talent.
We all knew that it would be a special moment for one, that, you know, being the first championship team of the university, you know, I think we were the backbone of making the community realize that they had a bona fide college program.
As an overall team, I look back on that team and it was just an absolute dream team, you know, for me to coach.
No room to run, no way to hide, no time for wondering why. It's here, the moment is now, about to decide. Let him believe, leave him behind, but keep me near in your heart. No, whatever you do, I'm here by your side. You said that maybe it's over, not if you don't want it to be. For once in your life, here's your miracle. Stand up and fight. This is it. Make no mistake where you are. This is it. You're going no further. This is it. Until it's over and done. No one can tell you what you know.
So, Joe, once again, in 2020, we celebrated the 40th anniversary of that 1980 national championship. You know, this is 2026.
Right.
So we are now celebrating the anniversary of the second national championship that Denny Crum had.
In
the
1986.
National championship in 1986.
That's right.
So it's coming back around.
That's cool. I'll have to look to see if we did any specials about that.
Blow the dust off of the archives. This is something that you may or may not have seen around Louisville. I'm sure some of you who are watching us have. They printed up special bumper stickers. And WHAS11 did too as well, because we were carrying the Cardinals games because we were the CBS affiliate then, and the national championships were always on this station. And it was the national championship with the Cardinal, the original logo. I see them on some cars.
Really?
To this day. Some very faded. Maybe some of them have been parked in garages as antiques for a while, but they bring them out. There's that Cardinal sticker. And you got them at convenient food marts around Louisville.
Well, that's one of the trivia questions I was going to ask you. What was the actual network that the national championship team, the actual game aired on? It was NBC.
It was NBC.
1980, it was
That's
NBC.
right.
So we didn't cover it that year. But I think probably by the time 86 came around, we did. And of course, this is how big it was. You'll see right here is the front page of the Courier-Journal, the day of the actual game. And above the masthead is this article by Billy Reed. When's the last time you saw that? An entire story above the masthead of the Courier-Journal. That's how excited we were about this game. And then, of course, this is the front page the next day. U of L had what it took to get what they want. I think that's a great headline.
Well, then they went down and were greeted by Kentucky Governor John Y. Brown Jr. at the time, who was the governor at the time, but lived in Lexington and was known for his ties to the University of Kentucky. And the governor famously, when he would go to some of these games, one of the most famous game between U of L and UK, he wore a sports jacket.
I remember seeing that, right. Half blue, half red.
Blue and red. All right. Well, welcome to the world, Joe. Thanks to the 1980 championship game. We hope you've enjoyed this other special presentation from the WHAS11 Archives. Thanks for joining us here on WHAS 11 Plus.